Obviously, not a ton going on, ladies and gentlemen. Those that are on the long side with the breakout, your stops are up now. On the YM, you can use 869. Yes. Oops. So that is going to get deleted right now. And on the ES, you guys can use 72. Looks like pretty easily. All right. Anybody catching a little piece of that? We only talked through it like 30, 40 minutes ago. Breakout on the long side. Anyone? How long ago was that? It was like 8:40. When did we start saying it? Right around, yeah, right around 8:40, 8:50. We said, hey, you need to break out on the long side. King David, good job. YM stops up a little bit more. You look at that prior swing on the YM, so you could probably easily be looking at, let's see, 885. Get a little cheddar, King David, in your pocket before the market opens. A couple more ticks on the, probably easily be at maybe 73.50 on the ES now. Why I'm still a good stop. Let me get these ES zones updated. Let's do that. This will be a no lose trade for you now at 73.50. All right. Right. Everybody lock in a couple more ticks. We got 2 on the YM, and looks like just King David here on the ES. Anybody else long on the ES? Following along with that? Couple more ticks. 74.25. Should be a decent little stop there. It might be a little tight, but we're getting close to the open. And then on the YM, still like the stop that we have here, but maybe if you're a little anxious, couple more ticks. Call it 1 tick below 90, so 889 or 888. And you have those ticks locked in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Ready to rock and roll? Let's go through this. Let's make sure we're ready to go. Those of you that were early birds could have caught the 8 a.m. nice little buy signal around 8 a.m. I don't know if anybody did that. Good morning, Sarter. Good morning. Were there any early birds that caught the early trade this morning? 8 a.m. Get ready to rock and roll. Get your brains in gears. Let's start doing this thing.
Good morning, Sarter. Let's get
Nobody did the
ready.
8 a.m. trade. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody did it. Let's see. Morning, D nice. All right, nobody did the 8 a.m. trade. We got a couple people that did the breakout trade here. So, good morning.
Good morning, D Nice.
And all right, so kind of think about what's been going on here and look back through and talk through our plan for the day. You guys ready? Obviously, a pretty darn slow morning. So kind of like yesterday, a bit of a slow morning. Movement will come into the market, guys. We'll get some action here soon. Lulu, what's up? So again, you got to look back and say, okay, we're inside a relatively decent overnight range. I am starting to break out of it, but again, we are bouncing right into a daily resistance area, pretty strong daily resistance area. So if you guys really want to be heavy on the long side, where do you think you might want to be heavier on the long side with? Where from? How about from? Better words. Use better words. Maybe above?
Above resistance, yeah.
Yeah. So we say trade from the extremes today. Don't get caught in the middle. Guess what it looks like on the ES right now? Somewhere in the middle. Don't get caught there. Yeah. Above,
Yeah.
at least above the overnight highs, right? Which would be the high of the day technically so far. So would feel a lot better being long, heavy above that. Outside of that, guys, you got to look back on the charts and say, okay, well, coming into a pretty big resistance area, we've seen this happen before. We know what happens in this area. Lots of indecision, if you will. So This could end up acting like an inside day pretty darn quick, so just be aware of that. Same for the YM. This could act like an inside day pretty darn quick, guys. So don't get caught. Don't get caught chasing is the point that I'm trying to make. If you're trying to buy into the extreme highs of the day, probably going to get bit. If you get caught trying to sell into extreme lows of the day, you're probably going to get bit. All right? You guys got it? So
Oh, yeah.
conveniently, again, the YM and ES have given us a pretty narrow range that we can say, okay, above that range, we feel really comfortable being heavy on the long side. Below that range, we feel more comfortable being heavy on the short side. If you guys remember last week, toward the end of that, we had a very, very similar setup in the morning. Nobody remember it? You remember, right? You guys remember that? Very similar. Coming into the open, very, very similar setup, very similar everything. No real news today to speak of, I don't think. No real news.
No,
Wholesale inventories.
probably not till Thursday. CPI.
Some speakers this afternoon, so not a ton. Yeah, not a ton until, like Coach Paul said, on Thursday. Then, right?
We got PPI tomorrow.
Watch.
I don't know how much that'll do, but it's at 8:30.
Yeah,
And
we'll
then
get here a little early tomorrow.
You got
Get
your
things rolling.
plethora of bobbleheads speaking.
And was that not like Thursday of last week? We had the same similar thing happen. Wednesday.
It was no, it was Thursday, I believe. Oh, maybe it was Wednesday.
Thursday. Yeah. So, what are the odds that today acts like those 2 days from last week?
I'd say pretty good.
Pretty darn good, right, guys? So you got to remember these things. You got to look back. I mean, if you guys can't remember that day, the last week we started off with a very small range, both YMES. Played the range through the morning. Did we not, guys? We told most people that were struggling to be consistent, trade light in the range until it breaks the range. Then you can switch to some cash. Okay, guys? You guys remember this? We walked through this in detail about 1,000 times last week. So Lunatic, Lulu, King David, the only ones that really remember what we dealt with last week. It's almost exact situation here on the ES guys coming in. Morning range, same on the YM, coming in. Little morning range being built. So we want to play ball outside of that range, heavier. So what do you do inside of a range like this? Trade lighter. Trade lighter. Maybe you do it in sim. The markets aren't exactly what's the word I'm looking for? Even though the markets are moving up, still getting pretty good amount of chop. Expect that. Chop up, quick move down. Chop up, quick move down. So we're going to be patient, wait for our steps, look for high probability trades, stick with the trend. If you're not long already, it's not the open yet, is it? No, you got a couple minutes. If you're not long already, don't chase. Those that are long or went back long with the hookup stochastics. YM, you're still in it. Yes. Those of you that got the original one could have hooked back up, got it back in on the hookup. I don't know if anybody did that this close to the open there. All right, so don't get caught in the middle. Play from the extremes, guys. Be patient today. What's that?
I just said, yeah, you said the same thing. I was like, just be patient and wait for your setups because It's gonna be one of those days.
So it's gonna be like, guys, be patient, wait for your setup. You might have had to, you had to be really patient yesterday for a good setup.
Here we go.
And we are open for business. Nothing starting really extreme here today, guys. Those of you that are newer, obviously wait the 6 minutes, be patient. Those that are on the long side, YM, you're probably flat now. What do we wait? What are we waiting for? Market to give us some direction. Doesn't have to be 6 minutes. Just waiting for us to get some direction here. And based on the open, it does look like market's going to want to do a little push down, like we said in the comments. See how big of a push down that is. Only aggressive people that have permission to trade the open can trade that. Everybody else needs to be sitting on the sidelines, being patient. What are my disclaimers? I need more disclaimers. There you go. Right around 10:30 yesterday, you started seeing some decently profitable, high probability trades. So think about that, guys. You might need to wait. Now that a little oversold on the ES, oversold on the YM. Hooking up. Those that have permission to trade in that environment, take a shot at that on the long side. Everybody else, again, just be patient, guys. There's plenty of time, plenty of trades. If you have to wait until 10:30 to get a good trade, you wait until 10:30. That's how discipline works. We say it almost every morning. It's not 9:36 exactly. You start pressing buttons. It's, hey, whenever my trade comes up. And watching you guys yesterday, a lot of people weren't patient enough to wait an hour to get a good trade. Guarantee it. Patience will pay. Trust me. I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. All right, those of you with permission to trade the open, targets off on the YM. Obviously, you have your targets off on the ES. Those with permission, those without permission, keep sitting on your hands. Those with permission, targets off, stops up. Because there'll never be another trade in the history of the planet. Right, now you can move your stops on the ES to, I think I've got like 3 people on it. Let's try. I think you guys be a little tighter. 76 looks like pretty good on the ES. It's a little tight. And those on the YM. Go a couple more ticks. Probably get around 864 is not bad right now. Maybe that's a little tight too, but whatever. Everybody else, again, still be patient. Wait. Give it some time to settle out. Those that have permission to trade through the open they know how to do this. So I don't tell them what to do. I'm just suggesting stops. That's it. And as we pointed out, Dave M, up in this area, we'd expect to see a little chop, and that's where we're getting. So
Yeah. Trend line break here on the range
if
chart.
you want to be aggressive on the sell signal on the ES,
Little
you can
trend
look
line.
at that, but I think
But
we just be
yeah,
patient.
It's still just not.
You had a
just
decent
a-
little M form on the YM, decent little M on the ES. You guys could look at this. In the near term, I would say definitely is telling us that it wants to act like a little bit of a two-way trading day. So got the little W on the ES. Starting to look like a little W on the YM forming. We'll hook up stochastics, a little W on the ES. Guys, and by the way, I updated zones, but this is the area where we had a really funky area. So on the ES, we've seen a lot of chop in this area. I mean, a lot of chop in this area. So I kind of left that there, thinking that it'd be easier to play from the extremes here. But just know, what do you know about this area? Lots of chop. Look what's happening in this area. Lots of chop. Lots of chop. Right? You guys have to know that for the ES. Know it. Learn it. Understand.
Learn it.
You want to see these swings in that area. You don't want to see this herky jerky motion we had all the way up this morning. You want to see a nice little swing down from a prior swing. Good little 9 tick rule entry. Little W there. All right. On the W on the YM, those of you that got a piece of that, targets off, stops to no lose. Same for the ES. Everybody else, if you're still struggling to be profitable, I would say this is still not the time for you to trade. Just be patient a little bit longer. What do we say about buying into the highs? Momentum is against you.
Yep.
We're flat. Anything, bigger accounts can look at the sell signals. At the top of the range. All right. We're overbought again on the ES. Laying this tight little range at the top here. I would be afraid of that, to be honest with you. YM starting to get back down to the bottom there, so might see a decent buy signal out of this zone for the YM. But again, keep in mind momentum's down on the YM. W starting to form on the ES, but again, guys, I still think that those of you who are still struggling, if you're going to do trades like this, you've got to know how to manage your targets. How would you manage your targets in a situation like this? Hey, if you don't know how to do an entry on the second leg of a W at the top of a range with very small compact range starting to form, you probably shouldn't be trading this. Is that a better way to put it? That's a better way to put it, right?
Well said.
If you're not already a sniper on your entries, this is not the environment that you trade. You wait for the bigger swings to come back. I mean, we're talking a 5-point swing right now, guys. And that's good. You could play that. More advanced traders can. Now break below the zone on the YM, the ES will probably follow that. If it continues to break through that zone, the ES will probably follow on the downside. And that will confirm that for the near term, we can look at this as a two-way trading environment. Fair enough. Got it, guys. So again, for the buy signals, 9-tick rule in the ES, 16-tick rule in the YM from the zone. If you do those, you've got to do have your entries. What's the joke we always make? It's not a
joke. It's not a 9-tick. It's not an 18-tick. There you go. There you go. It's not an 18, 36 tick.
So yeah, there we go, guys. Not an 18-tick rule. It's a 9-tick rule. You might be getting a little bit of a W on the YM, but looks like we got a little opposing price action. It's not a 32-tick rule on the YM. It's a 16-tick rule. So if you can't nail this entry to 9 to 12 ticks, you're not in that trade. You don't take it. Same on the YM. Look at this. If you're not in the YM, if you can't nail that entry, you don't take these trades. You're gonna get stopped out every single time in an environment like this. If you can't nail this entry and targets off, sit on the sidelines for now. There's no point in looking at this move down and saying, I am ready to jump in. No. You tell yourself now, okay, well, I tried a 9-tick rule, maybe got a couple ticks out of it. Now, if I really want to be in the long side, I'm going to look for a W somewhere out of the zone. I'd like to see a W come out of zone on the YM. That's what you got to tell yourself. If not below the lows, more aggressive people below the zone can be on the short side. Other than that, you're being patient, waiting for a decent buy signal. Those on the ES, you can have your stops up to 74.50. Should have you free and clear at 74.50 to be, there you go, maybe flat. All right. So more aggressive people can take the sell signals in this so far, what would be looking like a two-way trading environment. So don't stop yourself. If you guys are already consistently green, you can take the sell signals as well. You can play both sides of the little range being formed, buy and sell signals here. And this is probably a good one for today as well, guys. Wolf Guy brought it back end of last week. We should probably really think about it. Look at the smooth hooks and stochastics. Those smoother hooks and stochastics are usually going to pay a little bit better. Smooth hook and stochastic, decent little buy signal. Smooth hook and stochastics, decent little buy signal. Haven't gotten a smooth hook back yet. So maybe you want to play this like a W on the YM if you're looking for the long trade. Got the long signal on the YM from the zone. Yes, another hook up of stochastics. So again, targets should be off if you're doing a 9-tick rule in the range. Not a bad long setup. just maybe not the highest probability for most of you guys. All right, those of you that treat that like a W on the YM, targets off. Yes, you either have the breakout of the top side of the range or you're already in on the hook and stochastics and the nine tick rule. All right. See how that works, guys? Don't have to get super excited. Don't have to be all button happy. Just look through your progressions, guys. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Look through your charts. Okay, we're at the bottom of the range. At the bottom of the range, starting to see some decent what's what I'm bottoming action, if you will. I'm trying to use a proper word here.
Use a technical term.
Technical term. We're in a prior swing, in a zone. Decent little trade on the long side there. Now, if it stays above the 89 for the YM, you should probably see a pretty decent one run back up to the top side. If not, then you're going to want to turn that around and make that a sell signal. So if this turns into an M, make that a sell signal. On the ES, guys, again, stops up a couple more ticks, lock in at the top of that range again. So just kind of lock in what you want locked in. M starting to form on the ES. There you go. Probably flat. M starting to form on the first touch rule and YM here for the two-way traders. And again, if you are not comfortable trading this environment, you do not trade it. Yeah. Do not trade it.
Some slop.
Those who are very good at taking their targets quick and entries, managing your trade, aka managing your trade. Those that are good at managing your trade, meaning you nail your entries and you are good at managing your targets, you can trade through this. Those that are not, be patient. I get that little M on the YM. You already had the little M on the ES. Those that have counter trend trading privileges. Still trading in the range from the overnight session. So what have we said about this? We talked through it this morning, right, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, we talked through this morning before we got started. No. Hello, people.
Hello. Bueller.
The break above the highs would make a little breakout long signal. Do I have anybody still long on the YM? A couple people still long on the YM. All right. A couple people still long on the YM. Good job. Stop up to let's see, 821 is the easiest one under this little retracement. Anybody still long on the ES that I don't know of? Or go back in long on the ES? 3. All right. Good trade. Did you just take the hook and stochastics here like we talked about, Jerry? Good deal. Make sure to get your targets off. Stops up. All right, we got a few people long on the YM, a few people long on the ES. What did I tell you guys was gonna happen with the price action as it goes up toward the highs? Oop, I just gave it away. What's gonna happen on the way up? What's gonna happen on the way down, guys? Chop up, run down. We said that already, right? Okay, we did say that. Making sure you guys have your notes. You know what you're doing. Being patient. 1 or 2 good trades, everybody. You guys know that. Everybody knows that. 1 to 2, maybe 3, 4 good trades. Then walk away. If you don't get a runner, you don't get a runner. If you do, you do. Again, what was it when they said yesterday? Or said about yesterday? And then I saw yesterday? You had to wait till about 10:30 to get a really good trade. Are you able to do that? Are you able to be that patient? All right. Stop to get hit on the ES long on the long side. Maybe you're still in on the YM on the long side. Probably gonna be flat now. Toying with a little resistance on the YM there. So expect the chop up to the top side. And when the price wants to move down, probably gonna start to run down pretty quick. So manage your trades accordingly. What does that mean? Don't be afraid to re-enter a trade that's working out well for you. If you get stopped out and you made profits, trade still starts to work. Don't be afraid to get back in that trade. ES back at the top of the range, YM's back at the bottom of the range. And more advanced people can look at sell signals. Everybody else, stick with the trend for now. There's plenty of opportunity with the trend. Right. Oh, buy signal here with the YM. It looks like maybe, guys. ES, little first touch rule. If you're not long, I think you just be patient. Just be patient. Again, 16 tick rule, not a 32 tick rule. I would say, yeah, I would say that's exactly what I'm saying, Westy. A little too much chop here. If you're doing the YM, again, 16 tick rule, not a 32 tick rule. If you're already long on the ES, you just stay there. Break above the highs, then we can say, hey, you know what? On the ES, especially break above the highs, and we can say, okay, we're way more comfortable buying heavier on the long side. Those that are long on the ES, stay there. Those that took the buy signal on the YM, make sure your target's off. If it's too choppy, like Wesley said, stay on the sidelines. I've been preaching that all morning long. If you're not, and again, guys, until we start seeing decent size swings, I think those of you who are still struggling to be consistent need to just sit on the sidelines and be patient. I hate to say it, guys, but if you're not a sniper on your entries and you're not good at managing your trade yet, why would you want to do this? Why would you want to put yourself through that pain? Just giving the warning, just trying to help you guys out. That's all. Did you see my reply, Paul? That's what I'm going for.
Yes, I did.
Makes sense, though, right,
Absolutely.
Paul?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I was hoping to see. All right. There you guys go. You're on the long side.
I'm just
Breakout.
missing everything.
Bull flag. What's that?
I'm just sitting here missing everything, doing other things. But it's okay. This isn't I'm patiently waiting.
This isn't your environment.
Nah, why risk it? I'll get my chance.
Anybody else do the long trade when I pointed it out? Anyone? On the YM yellow piece. All right, YM stop to 840. Let's call it 850 to make it easy. ES stops up. Let's see, started it at Westy. ES, good little breakout trade, guys. Again, you could have done the breakout. We talked through it. I would say you probably could stay a little looser, shoot for this zone up here on the ES. So probably have a few more ticks in it. So maybe 83. Again, guys, you could have done the breakout as well. Talk through this. What did we say about above the highs? Yeah, you can feel more comfortable being long above that. So how many people who actually had a buy stop in that said, you know what, that's right, I could really feel comfortable just being long above this? How much easier is that than chasing stuff around in here, guys? There it is, Westy. There you go. How much easier is that than saying, okay, I'll just be patient and buy above this area, than trying to find something chopping around down in here? Easier or not?
Yeah.
I love it. Today's going to be a perfect example for class. Trading breakouts and reversals. Great examples. There's already been some really good examples today. So we've got some good stuff. Another hookup in stochastics on the YM. If you're not already long still, or still long, it was a little bit stopped. YM's trying to take these stops out pretty harshly today. So you can get back in probably on that one if you want to scalp it on the long side if you're not still in. ES, like I said, stop a little looser. Probably got a little bit more room to run. Same with the YM. You could probably see if it breaks above these areas here. The YM, you got a chance of getting up to close to at least call it 940 being your target on the YM. Yes, you're still in on the long side. Probably got a couple more ticks. Now you can squeeze your stop up a little bit at least to 84. All right, you guys are staying long now, right? Everybody's staying long. Time being, not forever. For now, not forever. Everybody got a second chance of that. A little hook down here. YM gave you a little better of a second chance going into the first touch rule. Again, if the YM pushes through the highs and stays there too, you're definitely going to want to stay long on the ES. So lock in the number of ticks you want locked in here, guys. If you've already got a runner, does anybody have a runner on the ES yet? Much easier. There you go, King David. Thank you. Some people should be pretty close to the runner. I think there should be. Had two people start back at 74. I guess everybody else did the breakout side of things. That's okay too. It's a decent little trade. All right, on the YM, stops up a little bit. 861. And let it just saunter around for a minute, move up. Again, lock in the number of ticks you guys want locked in. I would suggest keeping your stop just a little loose, or be okay with jumping back into the trade. One or the other. I think if the YM does break this little area here, it's going to run up a little bit further as well. So looking at the 15-minute chart, got a nice little area, especially if it breaks through the resistance. We already planned out that resistance on the YM. If it breaks that again, got a little bit of room to run up. So that means that the ES will probably stall out around this zone a little bit, and then push a little bit higher. So you can probably go a couple more ticks on the ES if you really want to. I still like the 84, but if you want to lock into like 85, that makes it easier. Lock in another point at least. YM, lock in a couple more ticks. You guys are all catching a piece of this, right? Yes, no, maybe. Everybody's still holding tight. Ball and stops. In there. Green Jeans, what's up, buddy?
There he is.
There he is. Sorter. Good job, guys. Good job. See how much easier it is to be patient and build a plan and say, okay, I'm going to stick to this plan, and this is a plan that I want to follow. And it's a lot easier to say, well, duh, I would rather buy heavier above resistance. Right? And then you don't have to chase in the chop. You don't have to mess around in the chop. You just say, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I think we put that in the plan today too, right?
You sure did.
Trade from the extremes. Trade heavy on the long side if it stays above. Trade heavy on the short side if it stays below. So it's staying above. Trade heavier on the long side. Be aware of closer areas of support and resistance. Well, that pretty much played out exactly the way we thought it would this morning. You can bought from the lows. You can sold from the highs. Trade from the extremes. Don't get caught in the middle. Not a complicated plan today, guys. Really not. You look back at the chart, say, okay, well, maybe you don't trade in this area, right? Now you're trading. So those that don't know how to play the breakout trades, you're probably going to want to be in class today. Probably going to want to be in class today if you don't know how to trade the breakout trades. And reversals, breakout trades and reversals for class today. I'm excited about class. This is some of my fun stuff. Now, again, you guys better have the basics down, and you're only to practice breakouts and reversals in your sim account until you get consistent with the traditional setups. Let's see, I think you could probably go a tick or two more on the YM. 877, 879. It's a little tight, but 877. ES, I'd leave it there. Like I said, it's probably going to chop around for a little bit up here. Wait for the YM to make a decision. And if the YM wants to continue to push through this, you guys see what I'm talking about here, right? Is it anybody following me on this? Or am I just running my mouth like I usually do? Where's Win the Day at? Okay. Well, just looking at this, guys, just saying, okay, well, if the YM really wants to push through this resistance area that it got caught in earlier, odds are the ES is going to continue to run up. So why would you push your stop too tight on the ES if that's a chance that something, there you go. If that's a chance that that could happen, then have some situational awareness about yourself. Say, okay, well, we know that there's a little swing point here. We know that there's resistance or actually a swing point on the YM. So we knew this was a prior zone. So what do you want to watch? Watch the one that's trying to break through it. That's the YM right now. So if that pushes through, ES is probably going to follow. Then you could probably go a couple more ticks on the ES stop. So just lock in another point. Go to 86. Who cares? Maybe. Or keep it loose, one or the other. You can keep it loose and look for the breakthrough on the upper side. YM, you guys can probably go a couple more ticks up to 88, got 90. There you go. Nice little even number there. So again, zones on the ES and YM working well. Even though we didn't put a zone there on the ES, what did we say? We knew there was a lot of chop in this area. We had this area marked off specifically for a very specific reason. What was it? Well, we know that there's chop, so we'd rather sell below this on the ES and be long above this. We're doing the same thing we do every day, guys. Building a thought process in the market that we don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. Just build a thought process that says, okay, well, if this happens, then I'm going to feel more comfortable doing X. If this happens, then I'm going to feel more comfortable doing Y. That's all you have to do in trading, guys. You guys understand that, right? And then stick to it. I don't care what your trade plan is, what you do, what methodology you adhere to in trading. It doesn't matter. It comes down to two simple things. One, preserve your capital. A couple more ticks on your stop with the ES, possibly 8650. That might be a little tight. YM, you could do a couple more ticks on the stop. But really, that's it in trading, guys. Maybe still like that 900, maybe. Don't want to be super tight, given the chance that this could run a little bit further. So again, guys, what's two things in trading? Keep this simple. Preserve your precious capital. That's not complicated to think about. Preserve your capital, meaning find a reason not to take the trade. And if you can't find a reason, then you take the trade. Two, build a very simple if scenario for yourself to give yourself two options. That way you're not 916 on the YM is a stop. Somebody's got to be getting close to a runner now.
Yeah.
Anybody getting close to a runner while I'm sitting here running my mouth? Anybody? Dave M, nice. Play a little celebration music then, buddy.
Yeah,
What do
that's
you need to?
always
What do
good.
you need to get a run? What do you guys need to get a runner? YM. You should be pretty darn close to it. Let's see. Do I have anybody that is close to the runner on the YM? You should actually have the runner. Who's took my? There you go. 2 people I know of got the runner on the YM. Anybody else? Anybody else on the YM getting the runner? Runner, chicken runner on the YM. Anybody? Going once, going twice. Sold. Where's my normal people? We got 3 people getting a runner on the YM. I like it. A couple more ticks on the stop. I like to say this is dealer's choice territory because if you got the runner, lock that in. If you really want it, 927 is a decent stop for the YM. Coming into this zone, you guys can make that decision on your own right now. ES. Now you can squeeze up to, looks like 69, 70s. Wait, let's see. 90. Why did you let me keep doing that? 90. See, I do that all the time.
You do.
90 is probably a little tight on the ES, but just let me run my mouth like a dummy. Getting into the zone. So again, this is dealer's choice territory, guys. If you got the runner locked in, sit back, relax, eat some Apple Jacks or Lucky Charms, whatever your favorite cereal is. For some of you guys, Metamucil.
That's for us older guys.
Those of you in the Silver Sneakers program,
Metamucil.
couple more ticks on the ES. Stop, guys. All right, 91. Still maybe a little tight. Again, I like the dealer's choice here. Pepto. Dave's choice is Pepto.
Pepto
for breakfast.
Pepto for breakfast.
Couple more ticks on the YM. You can
Better than
probably look
bourbon,
at 935. Couple more ticks on the ES now, guys. There you go. See?
Some runners.
Win today. You around for this? You catch any of it? Win today? Anybody? Anybody other that I don't know about? Anyone? Is there anybody else that decided to jump in on the action and grab some ticks that I do not know about? Who's catching a couple? All right. Up into the zone, guys, on the YM. So again, I'm gonna leave it as your choice. Lock in the runner or leave your stop a little loose. Probably got a little bit more room to run now. So as far as that goes, if you've locked in a runner on the ES too, lock that in, whichever you guys want to do. Here's what I do know. I do know that we have 3 people that locked in a runner on the YM. How many people have locked in their runners on the ES? I think it was King David. Dave's locked in the runner on the ES. Who else? Did you do it, King David? Green Jeans locked in the runner on the ES. Nice.
Some runners.
6 people so far with runners. Anybody else on the ES that I don't know about? King David. So I thought you did, King David. I thought you were going to have a runner locked in. Nice. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of patience. That's all it takes. You had a little oversold stochastics here on the ES. Patience. That's all it takes. And you didn't even have to wait till 10 to. You didn't have to wait till 10:30 to get into it. All you had to do is wait till 10. And it was a Crable breakout, both YM and ES at 10. Coincidences. Should be a little bit more room on the upside. Just a little bit, guys. For the ES, should be a little bit more room on the upside on the ES. YM, you'd like to see the YM break that zone that it's dancing around at. So same thing for the, here you go, flip them around, right? Now the YM is going to chop around in the zone, and the ES is going to try to either push up or take the stops. If it tries to take the stops, then YM is probably going to follow suit. If the ES pushes up a little bit further, YM is probably going to push through the zone and keep going up. So you choose. If you're close to a runner and you want to lock in the runner, put your stop there and sit back. It's a good little way to start a Tuesday, I think, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, turned out nice.
Not horrible. Did you finally get in and get a little piece of it, Paul?
I did as late as can be, but I had to get some.
I knew it. Get a little piece of it.
Just a little smidge.
All right. Well, we've got to celebrate. There's at least 6 people we know with runners.
No runner for me, but I'm grateful. So.
As soon as people start getting flat on this, we'll do a little celebration. We'll celebrate. And those of you that are on trial, we definitely like to celebrate our victories, especially for the members of the club. So we do that on a daily basis. We do really believe, and I believe firmly, that winning is contagious, not just in sports. Being successful is contagious. Even in trading, being successful is contagious. We want this to be an atmosphere that doing good things in trading, meaning being responsible, being disciplined, sticking to a plan, following the plan, and seeing that plan execute that rewards you with monetary rewards in your trading account. When we can put those things together, that should be worth celebrating on a daily basis, not just one time. What do you guys think? That's worth celebrating, right?
Celebrate our wins.
Celebrate the wins. That you know the good way. The reason, and here's one. The other thought behind that process is that when you celebrate the wins, you're more likely to say, "Oh, this is what I did last time I got this kind of win." It's going to lock it in your brain. You can say, "Okay, I can see that again." So maybe squeeze your stops up if you're worried about this being. If you're worried about this being the area that you're going to give back some ticks, squeeze your stops up. If you're not worried about it, just leave your stop relaxed and give it a minute. Give it a minute to keep pushing up. So we got runners locked in for 6 or 8 people. You guys want to go ahead and do a little celebration now while we're waiting on this thing to push up higher? I think we should.
Do the dance.
Happy dance time. Everybody did pretty good on this trade, and you're still in. You got your stops in. No need to worry about anything. Happy dance time. You got your stops in. No need to worry about anything. And as soon as I say that, there's the push higher.
Welcome to Liberty Trading Club, everyone. Paulina here. Hopefully you enjoyed our live stream this morning. If you're interested in joining us for live trade calls in our trade room, visit libertytradingclub.com and register for a 3-day trial. During your trial with us, you'll have access to the trade room for live trade calls and participation in chat to have your questions answered by our coaches, as well as access to our training modules, live member meetups, and indicators. Visit libertytradingclub.com to register for a 3-day trial. After your 3 days, it's just $149 a month for trade room access. Please like, subscribe, and share.